Good afternoon, everyone. This is Leah Dixon in Port Coquitlam, British Columbia. Today is Friday, I think, and kind of losing track of the days, but I'm pretty sure it's Friday. Coming in with another paper pumpkin alternative card today using the absolutely gorgeous March paper pumpkin. So I'm using again that extra stamp set that came in the kit. This time I'm going to be using the door stamp. I've been doing a lot of playing around with the boots. Today I'm going to be using the door to create a beautiful card. So I'm going to set those off to the side and get you started. The first piece of paper I have here is a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This has been cut at 8.5 by 5.5 and then scored at 4.25. That's kind of our standard card base. It means with one sheet of cardstock you can make 2 cards. And then I have a piece of terracotta tile, and I've cut it at 5.25 by like 3 7/8, only because I'm about to emboss this and it's going to actually shrink the height of my cardstock a bit, and things aren't going to look completely squared if I don't make this just a little bit smaller than I would normally. So I'm going to go grab my embossing machine, and we are going to emboss this piece of cardstock with this awesome die. I'm so bad at remembering names, but it's the one that's going to make it look like a brick wall. So I'm going to put my terracotta tile in so that that brick wall is going to go the right way when we put our card in. So do that. Now this is one of our newer dies or embossing folders, so I'm using the fancy purple plate so that I've got the right kind of sandwich going on to get the good impression here. And with that put through, I'll pull that out, and we have got our background all embossed now. There you go, and it looks like a little brick wall. So I'm going to move our machine out of the way. That's the only thing we're going to need it for today. All right, so I've got that, and I've got my card base here. I'm actually going to glue this straight down onto my card base, and I'm going to use some liquid glue to do that. You can use any adhesive you want. Sometimes when I'm doing things with embossing folders, just because of the texture, I'll use tear and tape just to make sure I've got a good strong hold. I find sometimes with embossed papers, snail doesn't always hold very well. Oh, good afternoon, Janice. All right. Yeah, I meant to get on yesterday and do another card, and the day just got away from me. We were out for a nice walk and doing some cooking and watching some movies, and before I knew it, it was 10 o'clock. So I thought I'd wait till today to come on. We spent the morning cleaning and making jello and stuff. It's kind of nice being at home, having all this time to do stuff. All right, so the next step for our card is I've got just a piece of scrap Whisper White paper here, and I'm going to come in and cut this at about 3 3/4 by 2.5. I think it's 2.5. Just let me give me a second here just to make sure. Yeah, that's going to be 2. I think that's, I'll just double check. I don't want to cut this too small. Maybe we'll do it just a little bit bigger than, yeah, 2.5 should do. All right, so 2.5. All right. So that's our cute little paper trimmer. This is the paper trimmer that you get for free when you grab a starter kit with Stampin' Up! Right now. That deal's on until March 31st. You get this free stamp set of your choice, package of assorted DSP, as well as $165 worth of Stampin' supplies of your choice, all for $135. So it is a smoking deal. You also get a paper pumpkin in that kit and all sorts of goodies, so it's fabulous. All right, I've got my door here that came with our paper pumpkin this month, and I'm inking it up with some black ink. And I'm going to stamp that on the right hand side of my paper. There we go. All right, so cute little front door happening there. Put those off to the side. Now I'm going to grab another scrap paper. Let's see here. I always have like all these little trims and ends and stuff. So this one, let's see all my measurements here in centimeters, but let's do one in inches. So this is just slightly smaller than 3/4 of an inch. Or it is actually, let's see, 1 3/4 of a centimeter. All right. But really, I just grabbed any old scrap. I wasn't too concerned about how big, as long as it's bigger than a 1/2 inch, just because otherwise I don't think you'll fit your words on. So the sentiments that came in our paper pumpkin are really beautiful. I believe in you and let love grow and some other really nice ones. But I have some friends who are actually, I mean, we'll see what happens, but supposed to be moving. And so I wanted to create a nice congratulations on your new home card. So I've got the Delightful Day stamp set, and I'm actually going to be using the congratulations and on your new home to stamp a little tag to go with this. So, you know, things are getting crazy out there, but life does still go on. People are having babies, people are moving homes, and so I've just stamped that with Pretty Peacock ink. And I'm going to come in and stamp the on your new home part in here, just underneath, again using the Pretty Peacock. There we go. So you'll notice that when I mounted these, I put the words right at the top of the block. I could have used like one of our sentiments blocks and it would have fit more kind of centered on there, but I find I like having the ability to hold my block and still see my words. So I've put those words up near the top so I won't get too much ink on them and I have a good handhold. All right, I'm going to put away the Pretty Peacock ink now and grab my very favorite punch. This is my Tailored Tag punch. I don't often use it actually as this. I use it mostly for creating little banners, and that's what I am going to do again today. It's just so nice because it means that I don't have to have a certain size paper, really, as long as it's smaller than this, which I think is like 2 1/4 inches, then you're good to go to make that little banner. So, got that punched and cut out. So that's going to go right on there. We're going to use some dimensionals to attach that. But first of all, we've got some more stamping and some coloring to do. I am going to grab the little grass things here with the little flowers at the top, and I'm going to stamp those today. I'm going to ink them up with my Pear Pizzazz. And actually, before I do that, I'm just going to stamp them off because I do know I have some color on there. All right. So I'm going to ink them up with my Pear Pizzazz. Now, the other day you watched me, well, maybe you did, watch me color these in entirely with felt pens. I found another way to do this. It's not quite as effective, but it does still work, is I'm going to ink that up entirely with my Pear Pizzazz, and then I'm going to use a much darker color. This is the Terracotta Tile felt pen. And I'm going to color right over top of my Pear Pizzazz because it is such a light green. I wouldn't do this with like a darker color, but with the Pear Pizzazz, I feel comfortable coming in here and doing this. And it is going to leave some color on my pen. So I'm actually just going to come in here and color off and take away that green and then come back in and recolor my flowers so that they aren't... like they might be a little brown otherwise with the green and the orange mixing. So I'm just going to come in and lift up the brownish color and recolor in orange. Okay. So just a few more here to do. If I forget, if I've done one, I'll just go back and do it again just for good measure. Oops, I just colored myself twice. All right. Okay, so those are good to go. Those are all colored in. And so I'm going to stamp this just beside my door. And it doesn't matter to me that those grasses and everything are kind of floating because I'm going to be putting my banner there. So it's actually just perfect. All right, so with that stamped, and so just come in. They're a little brown because of the green and the orange mixing, but mostly they've got that nice orange, and it's going to really stand out when we put it here on our card. So nice, and just a little burst of color in there. All right, next job is to color in our door. I'm going to be using mostly blends to do this. You could use felt pens, whatever you want. Even pencil crayons would work for this because it's just adding in those slight touches of color. So just a little bit of gray on my lantern there, just to fill that in. To do the yellow of my lantern, I don't have any kind of like lighter yellows. I have just these really bright ones. So I'm going to color in my lanterns with this really bright yellow. But then I'm going to kind of dull it down by coming in, sorry, wrong pen, with my ivory. And it's a very subtle, like I'll show you here, it's a very subtle color all on its own. And so by coloring that in over top of my yellow, it's just kind of toning down that really bright daffodil delight that I had and making it a softer glow, which is what I'm looking for in my lanterns and everything here. All right, I'm going to grab that gray back again and actually color my lanterns gray as well. So just go in like that. All right, so I have to say this paper pumpkin, I don't know if it's just because I have all the time in the world to be playing with it or if it's just really that fabulous, but this has been absolutely my favorite paper pumpkin in a while, and I've loved all of them, but this one just has really outdone itself. All right, so I just colored the tops of those topiaries with light old olive. And I'm going to come in and color in the baskets at the bottom with my dark crumb cake. And I'm not being overly careful, like worrying too much about staining the lines. I'm going to color the front doormat with my dark crumb cake as well. All right, that's done. Now I'm going to grab my light crumb cake and do a lot of like just really fast side to side coloring here, just filling in the space of that front door step. And next up is to color in our flowers. I've got light Calypso Coral. So Calypso Coral and Terracotta Tile go so well together. And I'm not even really being too careful. I'm just kind of like splashing in color here. A lot of this is going to get covered up by the ribbon that we're going to put on, so I'm not too worried. I just want to make sure that it's somewhat colored in case you can see it. All right, now we've got our door to do. I've got my light Pretty Peacock, and I'm going to come in and color in my door, the whole thing, and cross like that. So I'm leaving my window panes open though, and I'm going to come in and really give a lot of color to those panels on the door and a little bit of a shadow down here. So I do love my blends. All right, there we go. So with that, oh sorry, one more bit. I'm going to color in just like the little wall behind my door as well, and in and around my topiary. All right. So I really love the contrast of the terracotta tile with the Pretty Peacock. The two of them together are two of our in colors, and I just adore the contrast of the two of them. All right, so that's all colored in. I think that's about all we're gonna do. I don't want to go too crazy on the Pretty Peacock because it is just our front door, and I just want it to be a little subtle. All right, now I'm going to come in and give the trim of our door a dark Pretty Peacock color here, just to make that stand out. And I'm going to come in and not that one, but the outside one I'm going to do as well. So lots of trim here, the white trim, the darker trim to really offset that door. All right, so we're just about done our coloring. Last thing I'm going to color in is our banisters here. There we go. All right, so our front door is complete. If you wanted to, you could come in and I wonder, yeah, I'm going to actually use, this is our Seaside Spray, and I'm going to use that just to color in the window panes into our house. All right, there we go. All right, so that is our front door all complete, and we're ready to start putting our card together. I have got somewhere, here we go, I have got our, not even sure which one this is, braided linen trim. There we go. It's a really nice ribbon to work with, and I'm going to tie a bow on here, so I'm going to come in and put just like quite a chunk there so that I'm going to have something to work with to tie. Hold that there, bring this along the back, and then bring out another chunk so I'll have something to work with for tying. So that's our braided linen trim, and once I've got that there, I'll hold my paper down. I'm going to loop this under once, but I'm not going to tie a knot. I find with the braided linen trim, if you tie a knot in it, it gets quite bulky. Plus, I want this bow to actually sit sideways so that everything will fit on my card front. So from here, I'm just going to make 2 bunny ears and tie my bow right where I crossed my ribbon underneath. So no actual knot being made. And that's going to make my bow sit sideways, which is exactly what I need. And then I just come in and keep fiddling with the ends until it sits nicely. And this braided linen trim is so nice because it really, like, however you push it down is how it's going to sit. It's a really firm and malleable kind of trim. So now just make sure that's laying flat for me. All right, move that down just a tiny bit, and now that I've got that tied, I can actually, because it's not adhered anywhere, I can kind of move it up or down or move that bow off to the side, which is what I'm going to do. I'm going to keep kind of shifting this until my bow is really close to the edge of my cardstock. There we go, and then I can come in and trim up the ends of these. There. Awesome. So with that done, I've got my little congratulations that I'm going to pop on here. So you can see a lot of my front door steps getting covered up, and that's okay. Because it's all just there. You know, we're not looking at all the little details. We're just kind of looking at the bigger picture. So I'm going to grab some mini dimensionals. I'm going to put 2 at the bottom of this and 2 at the top. That way they're kind of sitting on either side of that linen trim and aren't going to be kind of boosted up in addition to that. Pull those off. There we go. And then I'm going to let this kind of find its natural spot above and below that linen trim and push it down. There we go. All right, now I'm going to grab some larger dimensionals and pop those onto the back of this piece. Just 1 in each corner, and maybe 1 or 2 in the center just to keep it raised up there. All right, peel these off. Okay, come on. 1 more to go. So here we have it. I'm going to pop that onto my card, kind of low on my card. And there we have it. Our card is done. I'm not going to add anything else to this. Often I'll add like rhinestones or something, but I think for this one, I want to keep it really simple, have that beautiful brick background, and yeah, so there is our congratulations on your new home card using that extra stamp set in our paper pumpkin. I hope you guys enjoyed that. Oh, thank you so much, Sandy. yeah, I'm just so in love with this stamp set. I may or may not share some more of the alternatives that I've created. I've started doing some designing with Best Dressed, so probably early next week you'll start to see some more regular posts from me again. I'm in the spring break mode right now, and I'm a little disoriented by all this COVID-19 stuff, so I haven't been really sticking to my regular schedule. I'm hoping to change that, get back on track, do some planning this weekend, and get back to, I guess, the new normal, which, lucky for me, seems to involve having a video almost every day. So I'm kind of loving that part. I hope you guys are as well. So enjoy this fabulous, fabulous day. I'm off to go walk around the park now, and oh, you're welcome, Sandy, for taking you guys away. It is nice to get away and get some stamping. I hope you are all stamping as well. And, feel free to share those things with us as well. So have a wonderful day, and I will see you on here probably again tomorrow for another video. Bye.